determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series presented by TD's Tree Service. Hello, everybody. My name's Andrew Woodhouse, and I'm here with Alex Simpson, iRacing Road Pro Series champion. And Alex, Laguna Seca is upon us tonight for the Ford Mustangs and the Mazda MX-5. And this is a circuit that I know you never used to like, but I know in recent times it's been a bit more to your liking, isn't it? Hello, mate.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how it's changed. Like you say, I used to really hate it. That's the only way to describe it. But yeah, I think when you get sort of forced to drive it for a week, kind of get a hang of it a little bit more. And I think that was the problem, is that I'd only really spent like a very minimal time just sort of testing on it. But when you really start to learn all the lines and all the different cambers and where all the bumps are and everything else like that, actually is quite a nice track to drive. Very difficult to overtake, and I think we'll see that in the Mustangs tonight. Not so much the MX-5s; they'll still get the job done. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure. And I think it's going to be difficult when the Mustangs come to lap the MX-5s as well. So trying to find that sort of base could really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, I still think it's a very, very flowing circuit. I think it's one that really does push the drivers to their limits. And speaking of which, we've got a track guide lined up for you now, where the guys are going to take you through exactly how to tackle Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Welcome, viewers, to Monterey, California and Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Great to have you with us today. We'll be doing the track guide for you here in the Ford Mustang FR500. This track, deep in history, built in 1957 at a cost of $1.5 million. It has seen its changes over the years, but this 2.2-mile, 11-turn course with 180 feet of elevation changes is one that is deep and rich in motorsports history. Sports car drivers all over the world love to come here to Laguna Seca, and you will see why here in just a moment. This track has hosted races from Can-Am to Trans Am Series, American Le Mans, Pirelli World Challenge, Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. If it's sports car racing, it has been here. Coming out of turn 11, the final corner, we head out onto the front straight. Running up through the gears here, drivers are going to want to get a lot of speed down here. This is the fastest portion of the course and one of the best overtaking opportunities. Coming around turn 1, down the hill, there's that first elevation change. Down into the gears, down into second. For turn 2, Andretti hairpin. Double left-hander. Drivers are going to want to hug that bottom to get a good launch and speed up to the next two sections. 2 double rights now coming into turn 3. Drivers will roll the center here, slowly get back to throttle. Tight radius corner on exit. Swing out wide for turn 4. Same here. Roll that center. Get that throttle down to the second fastest portion on the course. The straightaway that takes you to turn 5. Overtaking opportunities can be done here as well on entry of 5. Drivers are going to want to get a good launch through apex to head up the hill to turn 6. One of the most blind corners on the track. Very touch and go. touch the brake, lift, roll down into center, get those wheels down at the bottom of the apex to head up Ray Hall straight. This takes you up to turns 7 and 8 as we approach this slight right-hander as 7. Coming into turn 8, the famous corkscrew. Drivers will be down in second gear, rolling over this blind corner, down through the dip, back up through the gears into Rainy Curve. Turn 9 here at Laguna Seca. Wide apex turn, a lot of speed coming down the hill through these elevation changes once again into turn 10. Drop that throttle coming out. Want to get a good launch into turn 11, the slowest corner on the track. You will see overtaking opportunities here. Drivers are going to hug that bottom, try to get that speed up off the corner to race to the front stretch and down to the finish line. There's your lap at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, just looking at that track guide, it really does seem like I always find it interesting just how the drivers tackle the circuit in different cars. I've never driven this circuit in the Mazda or in the Mustang, Alex, and it really is a challenge. One thing we'd noticed. It's not that hard to notice it. Oh, as John Allen goes for half spinning qualifying. It's just how much dust gets brought back onto the racing line, because that's all the outside of the circuit is really. It's just sand, very dry grass, bit of gravel here and there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dust everywhere, isn't there? So, and I think the officials have got it set so that the the marbles and the dust carries over from session to session. So that's going to be like that for the whole race. It's going to be tricky for the guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, I really do think that it's going to cause some issues. It might make side-by-side racing slightly more difficult, especially for the Mazdas. One thing I'm also noticing is that for the first time in a long time, the two classes they're pretty much together, aren't they? The back of the Mustang field and the front of the Mazda field are just half a second apart.
Yeah, that's not a lot at all, is it? So really comes back to my point, before we went to look at the track guide, really, that it's going to be difficult for the Mustangs to get through. They're going to want to come through these MX-5s quickly, but they're really not going to be able to. And if they're having a battle themselves, it's going to be really, really tough. And I'm sure that the guys are just going to, they'll be quite respectful, but yeah, they'll also their patience may be tested a little bit more here than other places when they've got people bearing down on them as well. As Joe Boyd just aborts his lap there. I think we've only just got Edgar Sancinelli. That's the only person that's left to perhaps out there to qualify at the minute.
Sancinelli then currently in 31st place overall, going around the Andretti hairpin. I do think that it could be possible as well that Rob Hartley decides, Alex, to take a few more seconds on the start. We normally have a bit of a stagger between the MX-5s and the Mustangs. I wonder if he'll just get a bit more of a gap than normal, just to try to make his race as trouble-free as possible, because I reckon that the racecraft of Hartley, Holmes, Allen, those guys there might mean at the very start of the race that they would have otherwise been right on their tail.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that makes absolute sense there.
First time for everything, isn't it, mate? For me to talk some sense, especially at this time on a Tuesday morning here in the UK, of course. So just if you guys are just joining us, yeah, it's pretty late here. Mike Dam, not late at all. He's on pole position. 1:30, 1:07. He's half a second. Sorry, I have to stop there. Half a second clear. Around a 1.5 minute lap in this car.
Yeah, that's some going, isn't it?
That's fantastic. We normally see good qualifying from Mike Dam, but half a second clear of everyone else is just astonishing. Aero Nom in second place. Nom leads the way actually in the Drivers' Championship in the GS class. He leads the way by 1 point over Mike Dam, and then in the Mazdas, it's incidentally Hartley over Allen by 4 points. So Nom in second, Clint Vigas third, Kevin Ford in P4, Pasquale Iannucci in fifth, Stephen Thomas sixth, Leon Wright seventh, 8th place for Russell Ruddock, 9th for Tyler Schiffler, and Travis Davis in 10th. Matthew Catila is 11th, Jennifer McDonald 12th, Brandon Whitworth 13th, 14th for Andrew Lanning, Michael Monaghan in 15th, Scott Brooks 16th, Corey Wharton in 17th, and then in 18th will be Robert Brist, but he was actually slower than the first few cars in the Mazdas. So Rob Hartley, Brian Holmes, John Allen, they're the top three there. Jim List in 4th, Travis Schwenke 5th, 6th was Joe Boyd, then Jordy Fike in 7th, Jeff Jacobs 8th, Lyndon McMurphy in 9th, Jason Walsh in 10th, 11th for Chris Torman, 12th position for Dan Carrido, 13th for Edgar Sancinelli, 14th for Michael Key, 15th for Zachary Rubin, 16th Patrick Prevenas, and Ryan Cobb will be, of course, our in-race steward. Alex, I wonder if the stewards might have quite a lot to do here, because it's a fairly narrow circuit. The drivers don't have a great deal of time to get out of each other's way, especially at the start.
I'm trying to remember the last time we were here, how busy they were, and I think, I think you're right. I do believe they were quite busy the last time as well, so should be interested.
Yeah, we and those who, sorry, I'll start that again. Those who are just joining us, got a 1 hour race here tonight, so should be a lot of fun out there. We're expecting a one stop as normal. Drivers should be coming in. I don't know, you would imagine after between 25 and 35 minutes will be the pit window. We'll just get some confirmation on that.
The usual one. I mean, it is quite tame on the fuel here as well, so they might try and eke it out just a little bit longer, especially the MX-5s, if they're in a position where it's going to prevent them from being, lapped or slowed down while being lapped. More to the point, they're always going to get lapped, but yeah, if it means that they can just deal with the bulk of the Mustang traffic while they're in the pits, that would make sense for them.
Going to have just having a little look. We're expecting 23 to 25 laps on a tank of fuel for the Ford Mustangs. We're expecting then 38 to 39 laps for the Mustangs, 37 to 38 laps for the Mazda. Incidentally, just a quick correction, is that just a correction from the past actually, we weren't sure, but Russell Ruddock is actually Michael Ruddock's father, Alex, and not his brother, so
there you go.
Got to make that connection. We assumed they were brothers because the times were so close.
That's it.
And that's usually what happens. But here we go, around the final corner then. In comes the pace car, and Mike Dam's going to choose when he's going to go. He's going to take the green, and here we go. We're away here in round 5 of the season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series at Laguna Seca into the Andretti hairpin. And the Mazdas, Alex, they have given quite a big gap, so that's exactly what we thought they would do. Dam leading. Nom versus car 71 Clint Vigas, who's made a good start. Challenging on Nom there, and Kevin Ford going through now on him. So few twitchy Mustangs around, Alex, because of the dust.
Oh, exactly that. That's just what I was about to say. Yeah, Ford just a little bit squirrely coming out of the right hander there, and I think he still managed to get the pass done. As we head over to the MX-5, see the start. Oh, they're 3 wide. There's going to be a big crash already.
Oh,
disaster right to the middle of the track. Cars flying off here, there, and everywhere. I think we might end up having a safety car. No, the track's cleared pretty quickly. No, safety car is out. No.
And Holmes is involved as well then.
You know, the problem we've got is that some of the MX-5s haven't cleared the pit road exit.
Oh, we're going to have the issue, aren't we?
Yeah, where it stacks up.
It's going to be about half an hour gone, I think, by the time this is all finished. We have seen that before, but we'll see if iRacing have fixed that.
Well, let's hope that they have fixed that, because any of those that hadn't made it past the exit of the pit road will get held behind the safety car.
So it's a misjudgment by Brian Holmes, Alex. Really is. He moves across to the left, takes himself out, takes out John Allen. Jim List got a lot of that as well. Don't know what you saw from that, but it looks like to me that there wasn't a lot John Allen could have done about that.
I mean, there was separate incident. Who come in the back?
Sancinelli was he bit the dust a little bit there, literally and figuratively on that one. Sancinelli's car is toast. His front suspension is knackered. That'll be the end of his race. They're not going to be able to repair that one, I'm afraid. Yeah, I just want to see what happened with Sancinelli.
Oh, he got hit from behind. He was checking up because obviously they were crashing. He got hit from behind. I don't know who it was who hit him as well.
I do have to point out that I thought it was very good driving all round, really, Alex, to avoid the crash and not have a massive pile. Some other series we cover, I reckon there'd have been 20 cars involved in that, and actually there were only 3 or 4, which is, it's not obviously great, but it is better than you would imagine, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. So John Allen, Holmes in there, Edgar's. I just don't know. I think they might be done. I mean,
I think
Edgar certainly is. You know, that car isn't going anywhere. There's no fast repairs.
Look at his front wheels.
I know.
Front wheels
a proper number there. But Holmes and Allen, they look like they might be able to. Or did one of them tow back, or did they both tow back?
They're both in the pits with no fast repair, of course. So
yeah.
Oh, Brian Holmes has taken responsibility for the incident. On the chat, he's owned up to that, saying it's his fault. So, which is fair play, Alex, after an incident like that, I suppose. But frustrating for him, frustrating for all of them, really. John Allen was sitting second in the championship, just 4 points behind Rob Hartley. Brian Holmes was in 4th. May still be 4th by the end of the race, but yeah, it's a big blow on the championship for them.
Unfortunately, it keeps changing the car every time we go and
of course
try and do a replay here. So.
And of course, it might affect the strategy up the front as well with the Mustangs too. Because, you know what I mean? It might.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously fuel saving will come into play, and instead of seeing 20 lap, what is it? What did we say? Instead of saying,
tell you what, Brian can't see an awful lot. You know, if I'm honest. So.
Instead of it being 23 to 25 laps, then you know we might be nearing 26, 27 laps. I'm hoping that the scoring bug has not appeared.
Doesn't look like it has.
And it looks
actually.
like it hasn't.
Yeah,
so I think we'll be going out soon. Maybe a couple of laps, I reckon, then. For that to manifest itself. So we'll keep an eye on that. Just some notes actually as well. Did mention Russell Ruddock actually earlier on. He is sat in 9th place, and he was saying it's generally one of his better tracks here, and saying that, and you'll know this from a technical point of view, Alex, but he's saying he's been really focused on improving the finer technique points, which is, you know, improving on the brakes, rolling to the throttle more effectively and earlier, and keeping the car better balanced. Because it's all right to say that you you know, you're attacking the corners, you're going faster, things like that. If the car's out of balance, you're not going to gain any lap time from that.
Yep. Yeah,
because you're just going to you're not going to be able to rely on the behaviour of the vehicle.
Yeah, it makes complete sense, you know. And it's those tiny little things that, you know, make all the difference and find those extra bits of lap time, isn't it? So, you know, some of us just do it instinctively, and you know, others have to really work at it just to try and find it. So.
It was also said, but again, you know, you should never stop. You'd never stop looking at your own style, I guess, and seeing if there's anything you can do better.
Well, I think you've always got to keep a lookout, haven't you? Just to see if there's a little bit here, a little bit there you can find. You know, we're all racers at the end of the day. We all want to win, so you know, if there's something that's going to give you a half a tenth, that's worth having.
What he does say, Russell Ruddock, as well, he's saying that the competition in the class isn't an all-time high, which is true, but he says he's setting personal best lap times, but yet finishing a little bit lower in the standings. There's so many fast people in the class now. It's making him a better driver due to the challenge of keeping up, which, again, that's another thing. Yeah, we have. But again, I think he's had a good season so far. Let's see where he's sitting. The lights are off on the safety car, so we will get some green flag racing momentarily. But Russell Ruddock sat 7th at the moment, so you know he's making a good fist of this series. See whether he can get a top 5 here today. It's going to be difficult. Oh, we're going round for an extra yellow flag lap. I'm not entirely sure why, because it looks like everybody is formed up. So
yeah, I thought everyone was formed up.
Don't really see the point, but we'll refer to the stewards on that one.
It might be because they're allowing some people to come in and box and things like that. I know they've done that as part of the rules, isn't it? That they have to pit.
It's like a NASCAR round of pit stops, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They pit separately, don't they? So the box will open up, or the lane will open up for one class, and then it opens up for the next. So.
Not a lot of racing so far, of course, because the Mazdas didn't actually get that far, and a bit unusual to say that here. Should we got time to go for a commercial? I was thinking, I wonder if that'll be.
Yeah, let's get it done. Actually, let's get the first one out of the way. Say hello to the fellas at Ricmotech. We'll just do the short one, and you'll be back in just a second.
For the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech.com. So go over there for any of your sim racing products, and great stuff with Frank and the guys, what they sell. So definitely give them a follow and give them a few hits on their webpage, and you never know, you might find you might fall in love with a new wheel or a new hand or something like that. Don't know. That's the constant game in this in our sport, Alex. Is how much is the constant battle against yourself to not buy a lot of new things, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah, I failed with that years ago. So.
If I know one thing about sim races, is willpower is non-existent. So,
I can it's like me with what I'm sat in right now.
It's like me with curry and things like that. It's completely non-existent willpower. So, I think. Yeah, Frank will be getting a lot of money out of this lot soon, I reckon. So Mike Dam will bring the field to the green. We will get some racing this time when we come past the entrance to pit road. Mike Dam will be coming through the final corner. Going to go straight away. Yes, he is. Mike Dam hits it. He's away, he's got Aeronom for company, and not already Inucci then trying to get the better of Clint Vigas as he pulls away from the slipstream. You see car 8 on the inside line. Oh, he's going to have a look. Is he on Kevin Ford? No, he's not, and actually Alex's lightness on the braking there lost out to Vigas, so he was through on him, wasn't he? But
yeah, and
couldn't quite keep it. And Tyler Shiflett making a good move up the order. Look at that, 9th already. 9th he started, Shiflett. He's already up to 6th. That's great.
Right, take 2 for the MX-5s then. Let's make sure this one goes according to plan. No issues this time on the actual straight through Andretti.
Still tightly packed though, mate. Good, still side by side. Everyone filing into line. Actually, did you see that? Very, very polite driving. Make sure that that didn't happen again. Really. Jason Walsh under threat from Zachary Rubin. 25th and 26th at the moment. That's 6th and 7th, I think, in the category there. There's 7th and 8th in the category. So out went John Allen, Brian Holmes and Edgar Sancinelli on the first lap. We very rarely see multiple retirements on lap 1 in this championship, but we do have there, and we have some of the stronger drivers in the category biting the dust early on. Mike Dam looks like he's really settling in. He looks like he's already testing Aeronom and seeing whether the Estonian can follow him.
Good first lap, really. Was he stretched out 0.6 of a second? So
might not seem like a lot in this car, but it doesn't have a lot of slipstream capability, does it? So
yeah, that's quite a bit. And like you said, the race has changed now, isn't it? Because we're a 50-minute race as opposed to a 60. So strategies are going to change. The drivers are all going to have to recalculate based on that. So that's going to be key, I think, in this one. Those that get that calculation right, because it takes a lot of time in the pits for the fuel that they need. So getting that right is going to be so important. As easy can be jump. Nom just trying to stem the sort of the gap at the moment. I mean, he's lost so far a 10th this lap. So actually a good exit there onto the back straight, closes back in. So it's important for him to get into a rhythm as well after that qualifier. Mike put in, he won't want to let him sort of scamper away early, because I feel like, you won't see him again. Look at the dust and dirt and gravel that's just getting kicked up on there. And
we've raced here with 60 cars before, and it's crazy some of the stuff that goes on in the first few laps. I think the safety car has managed to just make that a tiny bit better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we've got like the dynamic track and stuff like that. But I don't know about you. I still feel like it's still a bit over the top, because the racing line gets cleaned up very, very quickly. It doesn't get worse and worse and worse and worse like we see. So I'd definitely like to see iRacing improve that. So a bit of constructive feedback.
And the racing line's generally okay though, isn't it? It's just
but even
the bit just outside it, I know.
There's just that little bit outside it, so it still seems just a little bit too over the top for me.
Definitely something to keep trying, to keep looking at though, isn't it?
We've been to a few real races and where people have gone off and things like that. It doesn't last on the track, and the marbles and things like that are not that pronounced, I think. So
it'd be interesting to see, with the Laguna Seca. I'll be honest, I've not watched enough races here in reality to enough car races at least. I've watched quite a lot of bike races here, but see whether that actually is an accurate depiction of it. There's Nom taking an interesting line through the middle sector and seeing whether find the extra couple of tenths to really challenge Mike Dam, which I think is going to be difficult to do. And it might allow Alex these guys the safety car may have allowed them to ditch any fuel saving they might have had to do.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be straight out, just go for it now. I'm not sure they had to anyway, but
and it's that with the Mazdas as well, because Hartland's 1.3 seconds ahead. So one of the few circuits in the calendar for the Mazdas where they can't pack race. Pack racing is non-existent here. It's just on pure speed for the drivers, I think.
That's it, yeah. Rob got a good start, didn't he? And the guys are battling behind, and he's just stretched away.
Oh, here's a move
Joe
by
Boyd.
List. Jim List having a look at the inside. And Joe Boyd resisting it. Third place for him. And car 4, car 65, just behind him. List trying to move up the list and into third, but if he can do it, he's not going to be close enough to even have a look into the Andretti hairpin this time. Lap 9 here at Laguna Seca, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV with Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson as usual. No Adam Bath this week. He's working on the Winter Olympics for the BBC, so it would have been a bit of a struggle for him, I reckon, mate, to be doing this and then going to
I think so.
to the BBC, I think, for like 5-6 o'clock, something like that, I think it is. So.
Yeah, so that's fair. Fair play.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a tiny bit jealous, I have to say.
Yep.
Tiny bit. But
for those drivers as well that are watching in, or people that, you know, spotting and things like that, I'm wondering where we are in the TeamSpeak as well, Raph. We're going to actually do this one from our own TeamSpeak for whatever reason. The Ricmotech one kept throwing us off, didn't it? Oh, mistake for List. Coming out of the corkscrew.
oh dear.
Just lost it.
Did he hit the wall or is he okay?
I think he kept it out of the wall, so he is okay.
Oh, he does have front left damage.
Bit more
by the brush with the barrier.
more gravel.
Yeah, even more, yeah.
I have to say, I have my settings so that I wouldn't see any of that, you know. So I'd just be oblivious to it. Just
when
plow
you're
it.
actually driving.
Yeah, exactly. I'd just be ploughing through it and wouldn't know any better. Marbles, she said, to gravel. I don't see it.
Probably why it's so noticeable too, actually, now that it's actually the... must admit, I think I've got it on the low setting as List. Tries to fight back through the field. He takes Lyndon McMurphy for his 10th position.
Well, Nom's managed to close back in now, half a second, so this battle at the front's not over and done with. They have stretched away from Ford, who is in third place, and good to see Clint Vigus
Mike Danbin in the
fourth.
wars. He's got some damage on the front right hand side.
Let's have a look. Not that I'd seen.
But he does have damage. Is it phantom damage? Has he hit a back marker or something?
I haven't seen him get close to a back marker, to be fair. And there's not really any walls here that you can just sort of skim, is there? I mean, maybe the final corner. Where'd you say? I can't really see it on my screen at the minute. I'm not really getting a good enough shot.
To me, he's got front right damage. Like the bodywork's bent up and it's sort of cracked around the wheel arch.
There is some hefty curbs that you can hit here, you know. Maybe he's just whacked one of those.
Oh, now it's back to normal. It's okay.
Yeah, just a bit of phantom damage.
False alarm, ladies and gentlemen. But it is worth pointing that out if we see it. But yeah, it's not really. No further action on the start. Deemed the steward, and I think that's fair, mate, because really the driver involved's out of the race anyway, the one who caused it. But,
yeah,
but
exactly.
so is John Allen, unfortunately. So and Edgar Santinelli. So
it
it's
was
a difficult
a racing
one.
incident, though. You know, it's just one of those start line
Oh,
things.
hello, what's this? Robert Brist having an issue. Happening there, he's very slow on the section. Dan looks like he's back into the rhythm a little bit. Or a nom. He's always a pretty hard driver to resist, isn't he, really? He's very skilled in this car. It'll all be down to the strategy between these two, you would think. Kevin Ford 3 seconds behind. He's still in touching distance at this point.
Yeah, I dropped back a little bit more again. I mean, that was 6/10 that lap that he lost. But I think you're right, exactly. It's all going to come down to to that pit stop, as Trading Paints has just decided to update everybody's livery, so I hope they're all alright. So
In the middle of the race. Well done,
yeah,
Trading Paints.
exactly. I hope they're the right ones. I do apologise if they're not or anything like that. So, yep. I love the way sometimes it kicks in and sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, it's kicked in now.
Have a good little battle. Is
So
between
Mike Dam in the white car ahead of Aaron in the white car. At the moment. Shiflett and Thomas?
Yeah, Shiflett and
Liam
Thomas.
Wright
And they're not
as
too,
well.
yeah, Liam Wright's not too far behind them as well.
Have a look, is he, Thomas? Not quite close enough, as we mentioned before, mate. Good start by Shiflett. 9th on the grid, up to 6th. And that is the kind of progress that he'll be wanting for the rest of the race as well.
Maintaining that sort of pace as well. Not too far behind Iannucci. Vigus is, they're all sort of doing very similar sort of lap times as well, within a tenth or so of each other.
Yeah, I mean, he did qualify behind Thomas and Wright, but it was only by a tenth of a second, so not out of place in that position at all. Just having a look a little bit further back, Matthew Katila and Corey Wharton fighting over 13th and 14th. You see them there, and then behind them you see Jennifer McDonald. Then further down the list in the MX-5s, in fact it's all broken up quite a lot really. The only battle of any note is Jordy Fike versus Zachary Rubin, and that's for 3rd and 4th. So as Hartley leads by 4.5 seconds, he's just left the building, hasn't he?
Picking out, isn't he? Completely and utterly.
Not many races in this series, like we said, where that is possible, but it is this time for the American.
Yeah, Travis just doesn't have anything. I don't know if Travis has got any damage from that first lap incident. Let's see if we can get a good shot of Travis's car and work out if there's any sort of damage going on. Because it's very unusual.
He was behind these
for
guys
him.
at the beginning, though, wasn't he? He was behind Allen and Holmes,
Yeah.
so I don't think he actually did hit anything.
Yeah, I can't see anything going on there.
Or anyone.
Car looks good to me, Travis, so...
We haven't mentioned the track conditions out there, apart from all the dust that there's been. It's 24 degrees track temperature, 18 degrees C is the air temperature, so really nice and cool for these drivers. It's not going to overheat the car or anything like that. Very good. I do have to point out as well for our American viewers, of which there will be lots. Fahrenheit wise, 65 is the air temperature, 75 is the track temperature, so a nice mild day out there. We'd give anything for 75 at this point, Alex, wouldn't we?
Yeah, too right. Oh, Jim List maybe looking for a move into the final corner. This will be on Jason Walsh. No, sorry, that was on Dan
Carrido.
Dan Carrido, yeah.
Gave him a lot of space there, didn't he, Carrido?
Far too gentlemanly.
He lost about a second there instead of just losing a couple of car lengths, but
Yeah.
I suppose it doesn't really matter to him. He's a couple of seconds clear of Chris Torman, so he's not in any immediate danger, Carrido. Maybe better to do that than to get involved with Jim List.
Oh, Iannucci and Shiflett were exchanging positions, and that's because Pat's into the pits. First of the stoppers. Let's see what he does. Time man.
An early one. Can you go to the end from here? Yeah, probably. I would say it'll be close.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, with 34 minutes left, so
It's saying that 23 to 25 laps on a tank of fuel. We're expecting a 38-39 lap race. In fact, we're expecting less. Must be expecting less laps than that, of course, now. So
absolutely.
he's going to make that easily. And in fact, I'm a little surprised.
15 seconds.
People-
Very
the only-
short. Clint
the only-
Vigus was actually in as well that lap. We missed Clint coming in just ahead of him, so they've sort of maintained their position. If anything, Clint pulled away a little bit. Better pit entry and pit exit.
The only problem they will have is that they might be taking, is at this point pitting now, they'll be taking a lot more fuel, of course, and if they wait, run the tank dry, and then do a shorter stop. We'll see if it works for Pat. I mean, Pat's one of those guys who...
They always take the same amount of fuel. Just because they've got a longer stint, if they've... That just means that they're, you know... Let me get to my point here. But
what are you trying to say?
Yeah, they're only got to go to the same amount of laps at this point, haven't they? So, if it's the end of the race,
it says on the first stop some drivers might only take 5.2 gallons, and then 4 tyre stop they'll take 7.2 gallons. So
it just depends what they've started with. If they've got different starting fuel, then of course they'll be filling for longer. But for the most part, there's not going to be a huge, great deal of difference. And when everybody's done their pit stops, of course, they'll all be on the same fuel as well. So what it does now is these guys will be a slightly heavier car right now, because obviously they've had to put their fuel in for the rest of the race. So.
You are right, but if the first amount of fuel was going to get them 23 to 25 laps, it'll be 27 to 28 laps now. It's only going to be about 34, 35 lap race. They'll only need fuel for 10 laps.
Yeah.
So they will do. Some of them, I can guarantee you, will be putting less fuel in, but I do see the point.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of stops around that 15-second window.
Because Vigas has made a lot of time on Iannucci, hasn't he? So
yeah, but they were 0.1 difference in the pits. So that was just a better in and out sort of lap.
5 seconds.
Yeah. Oh,
could have been. He could have missed his box, Iannucci, though, potentially, couldn't he?
But I didn't see him miss it. Just seemed a bit steady going in. So
Vigas is now trying to get past Scott Brooks. Has Scott Brooks pitted as well?
No, not yet.
This is
where we missed another driver, the important driver as well. Dam actually pitted. It's just showing up on my screen now, and he was 15 seconds as well.
Just saying though as well that this is where the earliest pit stop strategy might play against you a little bit, is because you've got to then overtake the traffic.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ford's coming in as well.
Dam's trying to overtake a driver as well, and that is
Michael Monaghan.
Michael Monaghan, yep.
Yeah.
So
Ford was a 15.8 second stop too. He's come out behind Vigas, so Clint's actually jumped him. So it just goes to show Clint's in-lap was pretty spectacular.
yeah, and he's good at those things as well. He's similar to Mike Dam in that way, where very good at the
Only just, I have to say, because they're still
ins
side
and
by
outs.
side now. But it's just the way the
oh man,
that's on the marbles on the outside there. He's going to do well to hold it on. Clint gives him enough room. Ford holding on.
barely enough room. He's trying to go around the outside. That's a good piece of driving. Ford wasn't going to give him that, but in the end, he didn't have any choice.
What that has done, just that little bit
played.
of battling, that's brought Iannucci back into the mix. He's just behind Scott Brooks now as well. So
Ford's close as well now. Alex still can nail the corkscrew. He might have an opportunity maybe to the final corner. Turn 11.
nail through there, hit the apex a slightly bit better than Vigas there as well. This is all important, lots of camber.
Maybe he doesn't have a go into here. He's thinking about it. He's quite far behind, so going to try and get the perfect exit onto the main straight. That's lovely. That's really well done. Pick up the slipstream now. It's not a big slipstream in these Ford Mustangs, but might be enough to give him a shot into the anti-hairpin. Alex, you never know.
This didn't get the run, did he?
He got a good exit, but no slipstream at all. Ford's car is handling a lot tighter at the minute, though, in terms of, I mean, tight instead of understeer, but he can hold the car tighter in the corners.
A few more people been in. Tyler Shiflett's been in. He was 22.5 seconds, so a really long stop. That's set him back a bit now. He's now behind Leon Wright and Stephen Thomas. So Nom, I think so far, looking at the lap times, strategy's been bang on. He's going to come in now. Looks like a good entry. Oh, don't just overcook it. Absolutely nailed it on the way in. This is going to be important. He's to hit his marks here, get perfectly square into the box. Just helps the crew just shave a half a second off your pit stop, so you can get working on the car a little bit quicker. What we need is some people to, you know, try and square up to. We're desperately waiting for the animated pit crew, aren't we, on the roadside?
Yeah, that's it. And waiting for it in the broadcast capabilities as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Just been watching while you've been doing that. I've just been watching this lap between Vegas and Ford.
Well, not even close. Damn well clear. Second lost in the pits, and even more by the looks of it.
Oh mate, he's miles behind.
What I don't understand is Nom's entry looked absolutely on the money, you know? So, let's wait for it just to
somehow
settle.
just manages to get these things done, doesn't he?
He was caught in traffic as well, you know, it slowed him down a little bit.
To overtake some drivers.
Yeah, just waiting for the like the live timing just to try and update so we can see a gap.
I mean, the
up.
only thing I can think of is unless he's gone a bit more marginal on the fuel, a bit more aggressive on the fuel, and Monaghan, Ford and Vegas side by side now. This one could get potentially pretty physical out there.
Yeah, Ford wanting that place back. Got a couple of laps fresher tyres.
Clint's not going to give it up. He really isn't going to give it up, but good driving. I'm just watching it. I'm sorry, I'm not really talking about it too much, but it's fun to watch out there. They're really giving it everything. Can't imagine this is an easy track for this car either, the way that this car handles.
No, not at all. Especially with the dust and things like that. Sometimes it can just over-rotate, can't it, coming off the corners. Going to be a little bit more prone to that.
Because some of the Mazdas haven't pitted, they are actually ahead of some of the Mustangs.
Monaghan is letting, well, I thought he was letting Iannucci go there for a minute, but maybe
he will
not.
be now, I think, yeah.
Don't know why he's done that, to be fair, because he didn't need to. He's racing for position out there. Jim List also has just got himself past Jason Walsh. The List working his way back up the order, even with the damaged car.
Yeah, but he's doing a good job, is Jim. Recovering from that crash at the corkscrew.
Travis Svenke and Joe Boyd still going at it. They haven't pitted. And Boyd's actually moved himself up and into second. We must have missed that one.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened there at all, I must admit. But yeah, he's ahead of him. Brooks is in. Got Brooks in as well from 18th place. Leon Wright, Tyler Shiflett, Stephen Thomas very close together. I don't think Thomas got the best run up the hill. Means they're all very close together now into the corkscrew. Then 7, the corkscrew. Then 8, it's a beautiful corner this.
Oh, very sideways for Leon Wrighton there.
Through turn 10, a great right-hander, and then final corner, turn 11, 3.6 kilometre course this. Got time check, Alex, please?
Yeah, 25 minutes to go.
Right.
Who is that? Travis Davis into the pits as well. Haven't seen much of Travis today. He's kind of just kept himself in sort of no man's land, hasn't he?
It wasn't around last week.
There he goes.
But he is in. He is out there. TD.
24.2 second stop, so a long one. Russell Ruddock hasn't pitted yet either. So the gap, now that we've actually got some sort of live timing, 2.9 seconds to Mike Dam, Nom.
Okay.
Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say Davis and Catila are going to be close together by the time PD emerges from the pits. Well, it's pretty close. Not properly close.
Not where we used to see in TD, is it? That's for sure.
No. But it might be another one of those ones for him where he hasn't maybe had the practice he would like. Quite busy with the other stuff, isn't he? Because he runs TD's tree service, of course. Got then. When are the Masters coming in? That's what I want to know. They'll get 27 to 28 laps of fuel. You know what it'll be? They're saying that they'll be able to pit around 43 to 45 minutes into the race. That was without the safety car, so
It's going to be close to
they might just be able to do a splash.
Yeah, yeah. I think
That's
you're
why
right.
That's why Rob Hartley's up in 14th place at the minute. And now he comes in actually. So in comes Hartley. Just mentioning it then. In he goes. But yeah, he's done well to get up to 14th place. Hartley, and he's going to come in now.
Boyd and Travis stay out. I wonder if Travis is trying to. Nah, he's not going to make it. I know they were in safety car for a little while, but it's nowhere near enough, is it?
No, I don't think so. Nah, in fact, I'm certain. I'm pretty certain that it isn't. Just letting you know as well, just an update on the cars who we thought they'd retired at the beginning of the race. Actually, John Allen and Brian Holmes back out there on the circuit. Allen is 3 laps down. Brian Holmes is 8 laps down. So that's the extent of the damage that they sustained in that first corner crash.
Travis moves himself past Boyd. It's the takes the lead. Is it go time for him? Might well be.
Yeah, it could be. It usually is about this time of the race, isn't it, for him?
Yeah, definitely. Russell.
It's the hammer time equivalent, isn't it?
Been into the pits as well. He's came out just in front of Brandon Whitworth. And tucked up. Well, not tucked up behind Michael, one of them, but behind Michael, one of them. He will get through Michael. He's only 15 seconds up the road.
With the former Open champion in the series. You can tell by the body language of Travis Fenke's car that he's trying a little bit harder out there. Not really paying dividends at the minute though. In fact, if anything, he just looks like he's a bit scruffier out there at the minute. Not really getting any gains on Joe Boyd. In fact, Boyd's going to be the one who might challenge into the first corner, Alex. He's got a good slipstream. Right behind him. Does not get close
Travis
enough
has
to
to
make a move
tighten
this
up
time.
the apex a little bit, doesn't he, on the way in, just to make sure doesn't leave the door open.
Having a look at some battles on the track at the moment. Sorry.
Walsh into the pits as well. Sorry.
Together, are they? Yeah.
Yep, pretty
They were
much.
a couple of seconds apart.
Yeah. Who's that trundling in as well? Lyndon McMurphy, I believe, in the background.
Yep. Murphy, car 63. Stopped by Jason Walsh. He's getting a couple of seconds on in the second half on Jim List in the pits.
More than that, 22.4 versus 15.8. Quite a difference.
Oh right, he said they were only 2 seconds apart. That must have been a bit of a timing error then. Oh, and they're going to come out right into this battle that we've been watching earlier on between Wright and Shiflett. And that's going to please Leon Wright, no doubt, isn't it? Oh, Shiflett makes a mistake, gets on the gravel on the way into the corner, and very nearly loses it completely, but gathers it up. When you lose the Mustang, Alex, it's not the easiest thing to... Ah, there's a crash. Been a crash, and I don't know who it is. See? It is...
I think he's into the pits, Boyd with him. Where is Hartley then? Hartley's coming through the final corner now, so should be quite comfortable for him.
Brian Holmes has parked it, so he realises he's not really going to get anything more out of the afternoon. But decides not to bother, I think.
Well, yeah, he did come back out. I didn't realise. I just noticed he's only 8 laps down.
Looks like Norm's closing in, Alex. 2.4 it was. I think it's going to be a fraction less this time. 1.7.
Yeah, 34.3 versus 33.7. So a couple of seconds. 0.6 of a second caught up for him that lap.
He's under pressure, Mike Dam, now. Going to see how the Canadian responds to the challenge from the man from Estonia. And Nom's car is twitching around all over the place. He's really going hard at this now. Jordy Fike still has not pitted from the lead in the MX-5s. Usually likes to go long. If he manages to see exactly how long he stays out for. Do you think we should take our last break before the end of the race?
I think we should.
So we're going to go for that now, guys. We're going to have a message from our friends at Ricmotech, and we'll be back for the exciting finish from Laguna Seca very soon. "16 minutes to go here at Laguna Seca in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series race." Thanks to the guys at Ricmotech again for providing great sponsorship to the series. That was easy for me to say, Alex. And on to the last quarter of the race then. And it's been an interesting one. But I've got a feeling that we're still in for some... It's going to get ramped up a little bit, I think, in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. As we just head our way back down to the circuit. Nom now within 0.9 of a second, so really starting to put the pressure on Mike Dam. We've seen that gap come down. I have to say, there's not so much pressure in the MX-5. Hartley 7.6 seconds clear. Travis now 8.6 seconds clear of Joe Boyd as well. So huge gaps in the top 3 there, and actually the whole MX-5 field is spread right apart. So apologies to those guys. They're probably not going to get as much action as they would be hoping for on the camera.
It's funny actually. It's funny actually because you would think, because it's a league that does hour and a half races, that this would be a normal occurrence of somebody being 8 seconds clear. You'd think, oh yeah, that would be about the margin every week, but simply isn't the case. If we have a finish with a gap more than a second, we're genuinely surprised by it. So Spanky now getting kind of held up in traffic as well isn't helping him too much. I was going to ask Alex, I was going to say, one thing happened? We haven't gone for an onboard lap, so I was thinking Aero Non might be a good candidate for you to take us through it.
Yeah, we've about there, isn't it? So let's jump on real quickly as we head down in towards turn number 1, double apex left-hander. And I'm slightly tight on the way in, but he still catches both apex lovely. It's on the power, using all of the curb. Bit of a funny shift.
He missed the gear there, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And then swings right for this right-hander. Make sure you don't hit the sausage curb on the inside. And again, use all of the curb on the way in. Again, avoid the sausage curb there and all the track out as far as you can, all the way over to the curb. And into this very cambered left-hander. It's important to hook the car on the camber. You can carry that much more speed if you do. Sort of pulls the car around the exit. And then we've got the fast kink towards the back straight and up the hill towards the corkscrew. Very tricky corner that as well. Once again, that sausage curb can really cause you some mischief if you hit it. Brake as straight as you can into what is basically a blind braking zone for the corkscrew. Hit the inside curb. Make sure you don't go too far over to the right, otherwise you get yourself a lovely slowdown. And again, a bit of camber on the sweeping downhill left-hander. Get the car over to the left before trying to once again hook up the camber on the right and get yourself ready for very, very tricky final corner. It's so easy just to overshoot this. It's a lot slower than you think, and you can't afford to be very late on getting on the power here, because it's while it's not very long straight, it definitely is critical in trying to carry as much speed. And that's a lap around Laguna.
Thank you very much, Alex. And yeah, good lap from Aeronom. Not really gaining anything on Mike Dam that time, but looking fairly good still. Challenge for the win right at the end of the race. We're going to definitely keep an eye on this all the way through. Of course, it's a track that has hosted many major events. It's hosted kart racing, it's hosted MotoGP, Superbikes, I believe, American and World. I'm pretty sure it has. So, and of course, sports car racing comes here quite often.
Yeah, we've seen some great sports car finishes, I think, here.
And it's made. Oh, off goes Nom, but only running a bit wide. It's not going to hurt him too much. Maybe lost a tenth of a second. That might be it. The famous corkscrew once again. Great MotoGP action into that very corner in the past as well. Now, just looking down the field, Wright and Shiflett less than a second apart. Russell Ruddock and Brandon Whitworth very close as well. 10 and P11. No Michael Ruddock, incidentally, this week.
Got Brooks and Monaghan, they're very close together. Brandon Whitworth and, like you say, Russell Ruddock, and then Tyler Shiflett, Leon Wright. So a lot of little individual battles going on out there right now.
What we want to see at this point. Jim List still trying to make his way through the field. He's actually less than 5 seconds behind Zachary Rubin, so see him, and you can see also Jordy Fike, Alex, too. Fike's in 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, he's catching those guys up about 7/10 to a second a lap. So if he carries on at that rate, definitely going to be able to look at maybe getting a 4th, which would be a hell of a result after the accident that he had.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that'll be very good indeed. Needs to keep this pace at 1:37 dead for Jim List, 37.7 for Zachary Rubin, and 38.0 for Jordy Fike. So he's coming, is Jim List. He's trying to get there. Top 5 would be good for him. 4th would be very good for him. Especially considering, like you say, Alex, he was facing the wrong way after just 2 or 3 laps earlier on. Well, 2 or 3 laps after the restart, I must add.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes it all the harder to actually get back, because the race was so short, really. Have a look. Damn, a little bit quicker this time, but I think that's more down to traffic. He's closed in, but he just can't seem to get that little bit closer. which is unusual. 'Cause it's not like he's suffering from dirty air or anything like that. But maybe it's just yeah, maybe you just can't see anything when you get close up behind these Mustangs. They're a hell of a
They're
car.
quite big. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're quite big. I mean, I've raced them fairly recently in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship, and you've raced them in the Commentary Challenge and things like that. And when there are quite a few of them around, it is quite difficult to see. And I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised that happens. You get little mistakes creeping in. Oh, speaking of little mistakes creeping in, I think Aeronom is just pushing his own limits a bit too much now. He's dropping off slightly, Alex, and another couple of tenths lost on the hill there.
Yeah, not what he wanted at all. Battle that isn't separating apart is Leon Wright and Tyler Shiflett, though. They are 2/10 of a second apart at the moment on the circuit. That's where they head up the back straight.
Oh yeah, there it is. The traffic as well, so might give Tyler Shiflett an opportunity. Backmarker might get in the way. A backmarker. It's Joe Boyd. He's third in class. He's not a backmarker by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, hello. Somebody car in the wall.
That's Travis.
It's Travis Schwenke. Travis Schwenke into the wall. What's happened to him? He just lost the car, Alex, coming out of turn 10.
I mean, he had a big gap on Boyd, but not enough. Get it recovered in time.
But he didn't go into the wall. He just
he's just sort of spun backwards, and then he's in a worse. Oh, he's in a horrible position to get the car recovered. Where Boyd comes flying through.
Yeah, he was just off. He was just off near the wall, Alex, more than anything.
Yeah. So no damage. Still be a podium, I think, but
made it look like he'd been in there, I must admit. Geordie Fike, Zachary Rubin very close together. Jim List is gaining on them still. Smaller amount gain that time, less than a tenth for Jim List. At the early strategy for Pasquale Iannucci hasn't not really worked out, has it? 16.6 seconds off the lead. And he needs to be able to solve the second half of the races, doesn't he? Because
it's always his problem. He always drops off on that second half.
First half of the race,
so always there.
He can stay with anybody in the first half of the race, but seems to struggle with the, I don't know if it's a strategy issue or it's a pace issue within himself or what, but it just drops off. I mean, if you look at the lap times, in fairness, today in qualifying he was nearly a second slower than Mike Dam, so probably couldn't expect anything to really go on. He's probably sick of us mentioning this every week, but it does seem to be that that's the point of the race where he seems to drop off relative to not just Mike Dam, but the other drivers around him as well.
Yeah, and if you think he was nearly a second off and trying to be 17 seconds behind at this point, it's less than that.
He's done well. He has done well.
Yeah, he has done.
But it's those races where he's been on pole position or he's been second, third, fourth on the grid, you know, where he's been in that front pack, hasn't he? I'm thinking of places like Sebring and places like that, I think, when he was near the front of the field, and then after the pit stop it just kind of went a bit wrong for him, didn't it?
Yeah, it just sort of fell away.
Oh, now Shiflett right under the tail, right under the rear wing of Leon Wright. Is he going to have a go? Not going to have a go just yet.
Yeah, very patient there. I thought that was as close as he was ever going to be.
Good exit again by Tyler.
Yeah, once again, Nom closing in as well. We'll stay on this battle though. But another
seems to
4/10 found.
Nom's push seems to be just in phases, doesn't it? Not quite getting it right lap after lap. I think it's simply because Dan was so good in qualifying. I think Nom's having to push pretty much harder than in any race all season to keep up with him, and I think it's just he is consistent, but is he consistent enough? Time will tell.
Yeah, pulled away again towards the end of that lap. So sort of maintain the 9/10. of a second there. Let's have a look at Russell Murdoch and Brandon Whitworth, because they're a bit closer than they have been as well. Got a bit of traffic ahead of them to deal with as well, so Russell's going to have to nail this. He's going to get lucky here, actually. Just finds the MX-5 just at the right time, and actually Whitworth doesn't get past, and he has to stay behind them through the Andretti hairpin.
Two cars different, although the Mazdas are matching them through these slower and medium speed corners. But it's not going to necessarily hold up Whitworth, is it? Much.
No, but I think he does need to get past now, because he was only half a second behind, and it's now 1.5, so that's enough. Still not got by. He's going to get one here, isn't he, if he's lucky? No, he doesn't do it, so yeah, that's a kicker right there.
There aren't that many straights for the Mustang to use its V8 power.
And actually, we're looking at Zachary Rubin and Geordie
Dill hasn't gone through on anybody.
Yeah, needs to get. Yeah, been very patient there, and
might get it now. It might cost him. Oh, he's not going to get one here either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean about the Mazdas though? They're only a couple of seconds slower.
And they're quick in the braking zones and getting out of the corners as well.
Quick in the slow to medium speed stuff as well. And in fact, they're pulling away from him in this sector. 3 seconds now, the gap between Ruddock and Whitworth. Pike and Rubin definitely isn't 3 seconds.
No, and List only 1.3 seconds behind them now as well. So
finally now Whitworth pulls away from this gaggle.
2 minutes 40. Well, 2 minutes 40 to go then. So not long at all. A lap and a half.
Couple of laps, yeah.
Apologies to the drivers again, obviously due to the technical issues we had trying to connect to the Extreme TeamSpeak server tonight, and the fact they kept throwing us out. We're not going to be able to bring many interviews, if any, I would think.
Strange line from Dam into the final corner. Lost 2-3 tenths there, so.
And that was a strange line in the background as well.
Oh, that was
McMurphy?
It's McMurphy, yeah. Getting it wrong coming out of the final corner, it looks like.
This won't quite be the last lap, so but it will be the penultimate one. The Nom, if he's going to get close to try and get a move in, it's got to be this lap. Bit of traffic. Gets out of the way for both drivers, although Dam just overshoots it a little bit. That allows Nom to get closer.
Struggling because that must be why he drove that weird line into the final corner in the last lap, just because he's suffering with the balance of the Ford Mustang at the moment. Can Dam do heat this lead? What can Aero Nom do to wrestle the lead away? Nom leads the championship by 1 point. Because as it stands, well, Dam will pick up 35 points for the race win, also 1 point for leading a lap, 1 point for pole position. Nom will pick up 32, so it will swing to a 4-point swing for Mike Dam. Although Nom's led a lap, hasn't he? So Nom with 3 points. Nom did lead laps earlier on.
He stayed out, didn't he? That was the thing with the pits. And like you say, got himself a bonus point. Sensible.
It's always worth doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
If you do that every race during the season, it might be enough points to get above your opponent.
12 points, isn't it? You know, it's worth having.
Yeah. Nom's close now. 0.3 seconds now.
Here's the final lap.
And he does show his nose on Dam into Andretti. Trying to make him think a little bit, but the veteran Mike Dam, he's not going to be disturbed by that kind of tactic at this point. I wonder if it is worth Aero Nom having a bit of a lunge somewhere on the last lap. I always think last lap it's kind of worth it. You're 11 seconds clear of Kevin Ford.
List also very close to Zachary Rubin, trying to get that final spot, which will be on the podium, because Joe Boyd has had to come in for another pit stop.
Rubin's in as well. Rubin hasn't made it. Fike saving fuel as well, I think. He's dropped down.
1 lap from the end.
So, yeah, List. P3. At least the List.
And that's
as well. Oh, what's happened?
That's the safety car. That's what that did. You know, people just not getting their fuel right. Right, bit of traffic.
Oh, it's a black flag for Zachary Rubin,
oh,
Alex.
Wow.
It's a black flag. We don't know what he's done, but a black flag suffered by Zachary Rubin. And out the final corner, there's no suffering here for Mike Dam. He's going to come across and he's going to take the lead in the championship. And Mike Dam wins at Laguna Seca. Everyone on with a great second place. Good effort by him on the track where he had a qualifying deficit, quite a big one. Kevin Ford comes across in third. And here comes Rob Hartley coming through turn 11.
Yeah. Stunning race from Hartley. Absolutely faultless. We didn't see much of him because he was in another league today.
Yeah, he might as well have been. I mean...
Oh, Fike and Boyd, this looks really close. Where's this on the track? This is going into the corkscrew. Well, it was, but I think Fike, like you say, he's just saving fuel, isn't he? So... Or lost all of the momentum, so Boyd through, and even with having to have that extra pit stop, he's still going to pick up a 4th place, which is not going to be too bad, but I think they'll be a bit disappointed because he was in 2nd, wasn't he? Where's Travis? Travis just coming across the line, takes 2nd place. Good job from him in the end, picking himself from that little mistake, and List with that fight back to 3rd place. Final spot on the podium. What a great drive.
Yeah, it was, and I think he'll be very pleased. He was in 3rd, wasn't he, when he crashed? So, to get back there, pretty good. The rest of them did do a very... Geordie Fike's out of fuel. Oh, Fike's out of fuel. He lost out to Rubin and Jacobs. Jacobs got 5th in the end. Somehow, he was nowhere near that, but well done to Jeff, getting up there. Yeah. Everybody's pretty much finished the race. Take you through the finishing order then. So, Mike Dam with the victory. Ahead of Aaron, just 7/10 of a second between them. Kevin Ford in P3, Clint Vigas 4th, Pasquale Iannucci in 5th, Stephen Thomas in 6th, Leon Wright 7th, then Tyler Schiffler 8th, Travis Davis 9th, and Russell Ruddock in 10th. Brandon Whitworth was in 11th place, and then Matthew Catila in 12th, Jennifer McDonald 13th, just ahead of Corey Wharton. Michael Monaghan in 15th and 16th for Scott Brooks into the MX-5s, and it was, as Alex mentioned earlier, a masterclass by Rob Hartley. Over 10 seconds ahead of Travis Fenke, then Jim List in 3rd, Joe Boyd in 4th, Jeff Jacobs in 5th, Zachary Rubin 6th, Geordie Fike in 7th. That all changed around quite a lot. Then the Mustang of Robert Brist. Chris Tolman was in 25th place, Jason Wolston 26th, Michael Key 27th, and Credo 28th, and then Lyndon McMurphy 29th, Patrick Prevenas 30th. John Allen finished in 31st in the end. He couldn't quite gain any more positions. Andrew Lanning retired, minus 22 laps. Brian Holmes minus 23. Edgar Sanchinelli was out on the first lap as well. Yeah, Alex, all in all, a good evening's racing at Laguna. And I think it's about time. I think we leave it there for the night.
Yeah. Just want to repeat what I just said earlier. Sorry, guys, due to the technical difficulties we were having with the TeamSpeak server, the Extreme one, for whatever reason, throwing us off the server every few minutes. We've had to do the broadcast from our own TeamSpeak, but which means we can't grab you lot for an interview. So I do apologise, and I know you all like to give a shout out to the admins and to Frank at Ricmotech, for supporting the series. So we'll do that on your behalf. And it's been a pleasure as always. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.